Yeah.
We should have gotten into drug running, apparently.
You and me?
Yeah, we would have been bad at it, though,
It
for
it
sure.
would have been like the shortest season of Breaking Bad ever made.
Just one episode of us
Yeah.
getting killed gangland execution style in a desert.
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
I
finally
Watched.
I
finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alon, and I finally watched Miami Vice.
So I remember exactly where I was when I first saw this. I was a huge Colin Farrell fan. This was a pretty big fucking movie when it came out. And I was sitting next to my friend Sam, and a group of us went. We had all picked up McDonald's beforehand, and so I had like a full McDonald's meal in front of me, McChickens, burgers, etc. And I was severely so-so when the movie ended. And this is a big rewatchables movie.
Like you thought the movie was so.
Correct, yeah. Very
Mm.
so-so. I thought it looked pretty terrible. It was hard to see a lot of things. The camera was kind of shaky. And this is a big movie for the Rewatchables podcast that they redid, and I rewatched then, and I have a much better appreciation for now. And I think this is a great movie to notice like the ridiculous parts of it, but to also just appreciate the badass parts of it. And I don't know, I really like it now. I think it looks better at home than it did in the theater.
Okay.
And I just think like once you kind of know what you're expecting, although I have an issue with that, it just plays better.
I am also so after my first time watching this. And hey, I also watched with my friend Sam. You know what's funny is that I just turned this on to like the small group on Discord and we watched it and I was kind of hyping it up. Yeah, I was hyping it up to them. They've never seen it. I was like, it Michael Mann, Miami Vice, same guy who did Heat. And the movie starts playing. And the first act is kind of finishing up. And I'm kind of waiting for the needle drop. How I thought it was going to be. First of all, this movie starts out where you're like in the middle of a thing going on, right? So
Yeah.
and I actually like that. You think that you're like a little bit like in the way, like as the audience, you're in the way of like whatever's going on. You're like, oh, sorry to disturb you. You keep doing your thing, you know?
Well,
And
much like a TV show, probably like Miami Vice, like I guess most procedurals, right? You start in one thing and then it leads to another, it leads to the real thing. So we're starting with this Neptune plot line that they're like, literally at one point they're like, it's Neptune's lucky night because we're now on this other shit.
right. Well, also, this is not your normal TV show to movie kind of gig because this isn't an origin story. Like this isn't how Tubbs and this isn't how they got together or began working as partner. You are literally dropped in the middle of their story and it's your job to catch up. So this entire time I'm trying to catch up. All this, by the way, being dropped in the middle of everything, it's fine. I like it. I think it's cool. It actually reminds me of, funny enough, like the new Superman that came out last year because
Yeah.
everyone was like complaining that like, oh, James Gunn starts you off in like mid battle, like, you know, and I was like, yeah, but that's cool. The thing was is that I just felt like I was playing catch up the entire time, and then things are going on. They're in Colombia, and I'm just sitting there like I don't have a second to actually understand what's going on.
Right. The other part of this that is now like fucking hit every time I watch this, I have the same exact issue. So the guy that plays Jose Hierro, John Ortiz, plays a very similar character in the fourth Fast and Furious movie, simply called Fast and Furious.
Okay.
And spoiler alert for the fourth Fast and Furious movie, but in that movie, he plays a middleman to this big badass guy. And in a great plot twist for a Fast and the Furious movie, he's actually the bad guy, and the big bad guy is just like a fake, so that
Yeah.
people that he like can't get, he won't, if a hit's put out on this guy, they'll shoot this guy. His name is like Braga, but he
What's
turns out to be
the
the
what's
actual.
the Fast and Furious movie where they're like chained to a
It's Fast
vault?
Five. That's
See,
Brazil. That's the one.
that's the only one I've seen apart from like the first one.
Yeah, so you've seen two of them. But so every time now I watch Miami Vice, I'm like, this is the one where it's the fake guy
Yeah.
is but it's not, and it wouldn't even make any sense because there's so many scenes with just that guy and his people, like him and Gong Li. And I'm like, all right, well, they're really fucking acting this up with no one watching. So it's like confusing to me every time. And I just couldn't, like, finally I had to look it up. I fucking had to Google it like halfway through the movie because I was like, I don't want to continually be wrong about this. And so it's Fast and the Furious 4, which is a great plot twist for that. That always throws me off with this. And like the Jesus Archangel Jesus de Montoya is actually a pretty great bad guy, like a pretty, like, he doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
He's used very sparingly in the movie, and really Hierro is the main bad guy that you have to deal with. Also, the most badass villain lair maybe in the history of movies. Very underrated, but just this fucking palatial mansion on top of, I think that's Angel Falls.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was watching it. I was like, "Oh, Angel Falls," and they're like, "This is not Angel." I was like, "I'm pretty sure it is." Yeah, dude. I looked at that, and the first words out of my mouth were like, "That's like drug. That like the only way to get that rich is like drug rich."
Correct. Yeah. Well, and they were like, they at one point were like, oh, we'll do a test run of just $3 million, and I was like, that's just how much money is getting thrown around. Where if we lost that, that wouldn't be a big deal. And then the next time it's like, we want 12 million. It's like, well, it's $60 million wholesale. So of course they're going to go at it. Cause I mean, if it's wholesale, then once you cut it up, it's like, and that's just one run. It's just one run.
Yeah.
We should have gotten into drug running, apparently.
You and me?
Yeah, we would have been bad at it though.
It
For sure.
it would have been like the shortest season of Breaking Bad ever made.
Just one episode of us getting killed gangland execution style in a desert, for sure.
You know how in the first episode of Breaking Bad it kind of shows like the end of the episode where like Walt's in his underwear and he's like has the gun and the cops are on him, and then the rest of the episode is like how he got to that point.
Yeah.
Us would have just been like, here's their headstones. Here's how they died.
Yeah. So this movie starts out, I think we can sort of just get into it with Numb Encore in the club. Just takes me back.
There's that, and there's a lot of dad rock throughout this movie.
Audio Slave is a key feature of this movie.
Yeah.
Which is very dated. Numb Encore, though, still holds up, obviously. And this movie does a good job. So Michael Mann, obviously executive produced. I checked. It doesn't look like, according to IMDb, he didn't direct any Miami Vice episodes, but he created the entire fucking show and he executive produced, all the episodes.
Michael Mann?
Yeah.
The director of this.
Correct. Yeah. Michael Mann. They created the TV series.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he did, I mean, the start of his career is kind of interesting. I guess it's like, how would you look at this? I guess his writing. So the Jericho Mile was a TV movie that kind of was maybe a little bit of his big break. And then Thief, I think, is his first like really like well recognized thing that's in the Criterion collection. The Keep, which he completely disavows and this got a release. But then right after that, he created Miami Vice. And that I
Hmm.
think is like the thing that really propelled him. Then he does Manhunter, does Last of the Mohicans in 92, Heat 95, and then like, off having like pretty pretty crazy good career. As of recently, yeah, after Miami Vice, Public Enemies, which, Black Cat. Eventually we got to do Black Cat.
I think my
But
biggest mistake is coming into this expecting a Heat sort of movie in the sense of pacing. And this, well, hold on. I never finished telling you what I like my thoughts on the beginning of this. The beginning of the movie, uh, what was interesting to me is the beginning of the movie leads to the whole movie as kind
yeah,
of a one tone. And I was kind of waiting for the needle to drop after the first act, being like, hey, you guys did good with this, or whatever, or you did bad with this thing. Now here's the plot of the movie.
yeah.
And it wasn't like that. It just it kept expanding off of the beginning of the movie. And yeah, it was hard to keep up. Next thing you know, you're in Colombia, and eventually I got back there cuz correct me if I'm wrong, please, but their vice, their undercover, they were found out to be undercover, and then the bad guys basically took revenge on them for being undercover, and then the last like 30 minutes of the movie is them taking revenge on the bad guys for what they did to Jamie Foxx's lover.
I don't think they were ever actually discovered as being undercover. Euro always assumed there was something off with them, and so he just took it upon himself to I'm going to kill these guys. And then part of that was he then sort of fucked up, but then he goes to Jesus and is like, "Hey, here's your girl and here's the way she's dancing with him. She can't be trusted." And Jesus is like, "All right, you're right. So you can take care of this how you want." I
But
don't
then
think
why did they go after Trudy if they were never
it was
found out?
because it was the same way they dealt with the other guy because it was part of their plan, right? So Tubbs and Crockett are like, hey, we're only going to do this our way with our people, the way we want, or it's just not going to happen. And so they kidnap Trudy so that they can change the terms and be like, no, you're going to do it our way. And so the plan was for these white supremacists to say, hey, you have to do it our way. You have to come to this location. Once they come to that location, they kill them. And then they kill Trudy too. So it's really just a way to get them to like go against their word of like, we have to do it our way to be safe.
Okay, so they weren't found out as being undercover, but they were still found out as being untrustworthy.
Not really even found out. Just a hunch, just a hunch that Euro had. And one thing about this movie too, since we haven't actually gotten started yet, is so Colin Farrell has this like quote I found where he doesn't think this is like the best movie because he thinks it's a little bit style over substance, and he was like, obviously you can't recreate Lethal Weapon, but I would have liked to be, to have some moments of like the partnership really kind of show through. And there is 0 seconds of this movie that are played for any comedic value whatsoever. Not to say there are not funny parts, but the movie
Sure,
is
sure.
completely self-serious in
It
every second of the movie. And
it it's completely self serious, but I actually I want to go back on what you said about not the partnership being shown through. I think maybe that is what I was actually missing. It wasn't so much like, oh, I wanted a comedic moment or comedy relief, but I kind of guess I was expecting buddy cop, and I just got cop, no buddy.
I think it's there in the movie that these guys really care about each other the way they talk about each other, because they kind of reference the fact that I'm just going to say Farrell and Jamie Foxx because I don't even know if gun to your head you could tell me which one was which if I use their names.
Tubbs is Jamie Foxx, Crockett is Farrell.
Okay, never mind. Good job. But there's a couple times where Sonny Crockett is like, "What would Trudy say?" And he's like, "Yeah, Trudy would say the same as you," kind of showing that they like have this relationship. And you
Well,
can
like
see the way all
he's in the morning in their place, and Trudy comes in, and she like gets in Crockett's face, and she's like,
like, "Are you gonna say
"Hello,
hi?"
Trudy." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit, but these guys do not crack jokes, and I think that is a, I don't know. It's the acting in the
What-
movies. The acting in the movie is almost like soap operatic, right?
It
Like
is. It's very much is. Actually, there's one moment where I thought this was the funniest part of the whole movie. He's flirting with the Asian chick. I actually don't know her name.
it's Isabella.
Okay.
Gong Li is the actress.
Okay. I'll just say Isabella since I knew who Crockett and Tubbs were. Wait, is Miami Vice where like that quote where they're like, "They call me Mr. Tubbs"? Maybe that's something else.
It's Mr. Tibbs, I think.
It is. You're right. It is Mr. Tibbs. So that's not it. So with Isabella, there's this moment where Crockett flirting with her, and she's like, "You should come with me on my island," and they're like, "How fast do those boats go? Those boats, the go fast boats, they go pretty fast." I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he's gonna follow her on their go fast boat, and Tubbs is like, "What you doing, man?" And Crockett's like, "Trust me." And then he just goes to like a different island and fucks Isabella. I was like, "Trust you? Why don't we go fuck this bitch?" Like,
For
what are you
for
doing?
4 days and
For
like
4 days.
20 minutes of movie time of them just fucking in Havana, which
And hardly
you know,
a word said except for that monologue at the bar. But like most of this movie could almost be played off as a silent movie. There was so little dialogue.
also the funny line from that you sort of skipped over. She's like, "What's your drink?" And he's like, "I'm a fiend for mojitos."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
That
he's like, "Oh, wouldn't your husband feel differently about this?" She's like, "I don't have a husband.
I'm married to the game.
I'm married to the game." Yeah.
I'm married to business. All right. So starts off, they're in this club. I guess they're going after a guy that deals in hookers. And the one cop gets to go up there with the two girls and like see how far he can go. Like, how far does he have to go before they can turn these girls because they've committed a crime? Is like a good question.
What was his name? Was it Jose?
What do you mean?
He was like,
Jose,
"No, well, that's what I'm looking at cuz they bring the girl in the back."
so
And maybe it was Neptune, and they're like, "We're not doing Neptune got away easy this time," or something
yeah,
like that.
it's Neptune's lucky night. Yeah. The one of the partners is the guy who gets to go back there. His name is Switek in the movie, which I don't know that his name is ever said. But so just a curiosity of like, do they have to touch his penis before it becomes a crime? That he's like, "Hey," they're on the radio with him. He's like, "We don't have enough evidence yet. Hold on." So then they get a call from John Hawkes playing a character who, by the way, his name is Alonzo in this, and such a small part for such a great actor to just be the guy who like calls them and then jumps in front of a truck.
It kind of sucks because he was the first character in this movie that I actually was like, I can kind of keep up now. Like I can kind of attach myself to this character and like, "Oh, okay." And then he just doesn't last for the rest of the movie, and I'm just, "Oh, fuck me."
Well, because he's worried about his girl, and then the way he's like, Jamie Foxx just gets off the phone. He's like, "You don't need to go there anymore," and it's just like, "Oh fuck, she's dead." And
What if she
Jamie
wasn't
Foxx,
dead? What if she was just like badly injured? And Jamie Foxx is a horrible communicator. He's like,
no,
you
no,
don't
you
have to
didn't need to
go."
go there. She's at the hospital.
Yeah, she's at the hospital. And as he's saying that, the truck just kills him.
And every conversation too, Sonny and Crockett have to talk as cool as possible and like use code words and like, "Oh, we're transpo. We're not transportation, we're transpo."
But it is kind of tiring with everything else going on. That, not that you're falling asleep through it, it's just your brain is trying to make sense of the things that are being said and things that are going on, that you can't actually fully enjoy what is going on in this movie.
Definitely on the first watch. Yeah, I can see that. So then they have to take out the fast boat competition. This is after talking to the FBI and being like, all right, well, you guys are going to be the ones to go undercover because we don't know who else is compromised.
Why is it called a go fast boat? Can no one come up with like a better name than the go fast boat of boats that go fast?
What, I mean, do you need a better name? It's fucking perfect.
It's too perfect.
Anyway, so I love the scene of them taking out the competition, blowing up the boat, stealing all the drugs. But this gets to my favorite scene, which is the guy who introduces them to Jose Hierro, played by Eddie Marsan, who is of British Isles descent normally. That is the accent he has. And I don't know what the thought was with the accent he has in this movie, but my favorite line is, "It can come back on me, baby."
There are a lot of scenes like that, right? Like a lot of actors that you recognize, maybe not know the name of it, but you like recognize them, and they're all throughout this movie. Syrian Hines is one of those two. I mean, I know who Syrian Hines is, but he's just a very recognizable face that plays a big part of this movie, but he doesn't get a lot of screen time.
Justin Theroux's like their third or fourth in charge partner or whatever, who's
Yeah.
just like you can barely tell is in the movie, which in theaters, which much harder to see these people. So
There's that meeting in the middle of the movie with Tubbs and Crockett, Syrian Hines, and what's the black guy who was like their chief? Barry Hinley, Martin Costello,
yeah.
right? They're all four having a meeting in like a junkyard or something. And my friend watching this with me swore that Syrian Hines was like against them, like secret bad guy. And I was like, I don't think so. I think he's just incredibly incompetent.
Probably, and I think that's probably comes from the show too. Of like, I mean, if you think about these shows, right? Like the other agencies always are fucking with our guys and like getting in the way. Like that's just tropey writing for these serialized shows.
That's true too. But he was like, what was he saying? He was like, oh, my intel was bad. And that like kept being a thing with him.
So this movie like goes all over, and I'm pretty sure they went to a good amount of these places. Like, so I read that like it filmed in Ciudad del Este, which I think is in Paraguay. It filmed in Uruguay. It filmed in the DR. Filmed in Florida. Like filmed all over. But they go to Ciudad del Este, which is there's only one scene where it's just Hierro like looking up these guys on the computer. I don't know that we go back there at all. Then we go to Haiti, and I love Colin Farrell. Why does it feel like that they know we're coming from 15 blocks? And Jamie Foxx, because everybody knows we're from here from 15 blocks out. Like,
Yeah.
just the coolest guys. It is a great scene though, where he's like, no one knows you. He's like, my mommy and daddy knows me. And then Jamie Foxx, we don't audition for business audition for us.
I mean, you gotta. I do like that scene a lot. You got to come in with a certain attitude and a certain confidence when you're undercover. I mean, eh, I can't think of a more stressful job IRL than being an undercover cop and like having to face people who like peel the skin off of people who they just like don't trust or like that betray them. Like you're put in the most dangerous spots, and then they're just like coming in with like all the confidence and cracking jokes about stuff in the world. I'm just like, but also there is a great point in this movie where you're never worried about Crockett and Tubbs' safety. Like, you know, they're not going to die. I mean, Trudy might die, Isabella might die, but you know, the two main guys aren't going to die.
In the end, none of the good guys die, right?
I mean, that's true too.
I love the pulling of the pin from the grenade and holding it. Just
Yeah.
like, and he's like, that's gonna be Jose Hierro splattered on his own wall. And he's like, he's like, I'm fine with you, but I don't like your partners. Are you trying to fuck my partner or are you trying to do business? So then they do the trial run. I love that plane. I don't know what that plane is. It looks crazy. It doesn't look very practical, but like that wing on the back that comes from like both sides.
But that's Colombia at this point, right?
It's somewhere.
Well,
Suriname.
not really Colombia, but the like in the movie world, they're in Colombia.
They're traveling, but I mean, they're like they go to, like I said, they go to Cuba, they go
Yeah.
to all these places, right? So it's, I don't know.
Where the movie starts to kind of make sense for me, where I can like catch up. There's these moments of like dropout periods for me throughout that I'm just like, I don't know what's going on here, but it's cool. I'm just kind of following these two guys doing their thing. The trip with Isabel and all of that, I really liked it. It was probably my favorite part of the movie in the sense where I finally started to like understood Crockett. And then Tubbs and Trudy, like, by the way, a lot of shower sex scenes in this movie. However,
Very
with
stylized.
with those, you do kind of start to understand these two's character and what they value in the world the most. You don't get that all up front. You get that sprinkled throughout, and I thought that was like very well done.
You do get a little of it in the beginning though, right? Because the first thing that Colin Farrell's character does is hit on the bartender, and the first thing you really see Jamie Foxx do is get upset about the hooker that's getting beat up and like want to go kick the shit out of all these guys.
No, for sure. But what I mean is, like, you don't get it all up front. You
I wasn't
eventually.
disagreeing with you. I was just
Oh,
making a point, adding on. This is
okay.
not an argument. What
I'm
you and I
so
are
used
doing
to
right
us
now.
arguing.
No,
I'm just
it's
ready
never
for
is.
it.
It's never you and I arguing. It's me making a statement and you deciding we have to argue about it.
I do like to argue, and you're
Yeah,
the
it's,
lawyer, so I don't
and I
understand.
don't like to do it because I just think it's unnecessary.
Uh,
Even though you have shit opinions most of the time.
well,
So there's two sex scenes. The first one with Jamie Foxx where he pretends like he's finished and then he's like, nah, just joking, which I think is funny. And then there's the next one set to Audio Slave, as we talked about earlier, which is just an amazing choice. I do think the movie is trying to like get the vibe of the Miami Vice show with like updating the music to what like a comparison would be. But then 20 years later, I don't feel like the music from the 2006 movie holds up as well as the music from the show does, most likely.
well, it's kind of like we've circled back around to liking '80s music and '80s music becoming more relevant than '90s or 2000. I mean, if you think about the original show, we're 40 years away from that now,
Yep.
and they were 20, and we, like humans, we operate in cycles. So we're like, in another 20 years, we might be back at the 2006 movie.
I doubt it. So they decide to stay in, even though the FBI is hesitant because they're like, we want to take this all the way up. Like, we're just not going after the Brotherhood. When they go to Columbia next, and they're like, hey, we're going to give you these crates. Don't open any of them, but here, the 4,000 kilos will be there. That never plays into anything. I was like, are there going to be humans in there? Like, why are they not allowed to open these certain containers, but then these other, like the drugs are in the other one? I was like, what's going on with that?
Yep.
And then Isabella and Sonny dancing in front of Euro like they're going to fuck on the dance floor is the dumbest. The fuck are you guys doing?
Well, also, like, isn't there cameras?
No, they get caught on camera. That's like what undoes them because she's like tells Sonny like, "Oh, I'm not married." But then when she's in bed with Jesus and he's like, "What's your thoughts?" and she like plays it cool like, "Yeah, you can kill these guys if you want to," but clearly not. So why are you fucking fucking on the floor in front of the bad guys? Like keep it on the DL a little bit.
Also, Euro is such like a little sneezling weasel, like tattletale guy. I was just like, oh my god. When he died, I got more excited about his death than Jesus's.
Jesus doesn't die.
Or what, he gets caught?
No.
No.
Jesus, he's at the end, the like whatever army from whatever country
Yeah,
he's
they're
supposed
having,
to
like,
be in, because I don't think it's Venice. I mean, they probably said what it was, but it wasn't real. But like,
I swear Jesus dies.
No,
There's also
They go to his mansion and it's complete to arrest him or whatever, and it's completely empty. Like
I
he
remember
got out.
that. I thought it was later on. They do kill someone else. I think it was one of Euro's guys, and it was like posed as a bigger moment in the movie.
Well, they kill Euro's guy, and he like in front of him. He's like, "No!" But like that's his lover or something.
No. Actually, it's the one where Isabella's attacking him because she finds out that he's a cop, and he like shoots his foot from
Yeah,
behind the
that.
truck.
Well, that's the Aryan guy. That's like the main white
Oh, okay,
supremacist.
maybe that's who I was thinking.
So after this, they do figure out that it's like DC FBI that's in on this. But this is like a lot of what's in this feels like it's just homages to the show. It's like plot lines that would have happened in the show, but we don't have the time to explore it in a movie. We might have explored it in a 13 episode arc or whatever. We're not going to explore it now. But Shruti gets grabbed. It's in a trailer near the airport, and they call them, and the White Brotherhood guys like, oh, we're gonna kill these guys for a 30% discount. It's like they have a coupon. Like we kill these guys, we get a coupon for half off.
Unknowing to them, they just sign their own death warrant. I do love how the team get like kind of a brief introduction once or twice earlier in the movie of the team,
Yeah.
the rest of the Vice, and how they like move in on the guy. The girl sniper, super cool, and she's like I'm gonna blast your spinal cord, and your finger's not even gonna know what hit it, you know. And
That is there's another movie that does that exact same thing where it explains that like if you get hit in like this little area in your brain that your finger like it shuts you off so quickly your finger can't twitch. And that other movie is with Colin Farrell and it's SWAT.
that's funny. I thought you were gonna say Fast and Furious.
It's probably in there too.
What is really dumb of the Aryan Nazi guy is he's a bomb maker. He puts this like elaborate collar on Trudy, etc., etc. They even have the place rigged with Euros at the command of it, right? And
But
that
they
we
don't
see
know
how that
that.
plays out. What I don't understand is why that wasn't a dead man switch on his thumb. Like,
I don't know. Maybe they're a little more dangerous.
I don't know. I was like, that was stupid. But yeah, dude,
Dead
I
man
was
switch is more of a suicide bomber thing, right? Like a dead man switch is like one guy who's holding it the whole time.
holding it down the whole time, and if he lets go, everything blows up.
You don't
But
have to
that would,
explain what it is to me. I just don't think it would be used in this scenario.
but in this scenario, if he had a dead man switch, they would have been more hesitant to kill him.
Yeah, but it's impractical in this scenario because they don't think these guys are going to find them. Which actually, why would you think these guys are going to find you? Make sure that an airplane's not going overhead when you do the call. And like, why is there a bomb on her anyway? Like, it almost is like it's plot convenience because like you do get caught, but it's like, why would you think you're going to get caught?
Well, I mean, they're white supremacists, so they're not supposed to be really deemed intelligent, anyways. But actually, a really cool plot point in this movie that I found interesting was they stole all that dope and then turned around as they were like, "Hey, we recovered all your stolen dope."
Yeah, which I think I was going to say this earlier. Do you feel like that almost might have been the thing that like tipped Jose off that he's like, they wouldn't do this. They're trying to ingratiate themselves with us, but it's like, I don't know, it's coming off as like too pick me.
I
Like,
mean,
oh,
between that and fucking
cool.
Isabella, I don't know. They could have been everything together.
He really wants to fuck Isabella. So the trailer scene is so cool. First of all, like the kid that attacks him and he gets the knife and just like fucks that kid up, slices the other guy up, and then just like shoots him in the head as he like starts to move.
It was brutal, but yeah.
And then they think there's going to be more guys outside, which is why Trudy waits in there. And it's like similar to what we were just saying. I don't know why Yero's got a fucking camera on this thing and can blow it up remotely.
I mean, it's one of those like, well, if they're not proactively kidnapping someone and holding them hostage, he can just blow up the entire trailer if the white supremacists step out of line.
Yeah, and the thing the movie does too that is like similar, like very subtle, is when Euro clicks the camera over, he can just see Trudy like escaping. So he can't see them in like their full police tactical gear that might give him some clue like, oh wait, what the fuck's going on with these guys?
But she's not escaping. She's coming back into the trailer.
She's standing at the door. I mean, I know it's he
But
can see all the dead.
that was a little, well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He can see all the dead bodies. So,
Yeah, so but he just can't see Sonny and Crockett standing there in their like tactical gear. So then he sets up. They're like, we want a new deal, and we want you there. And then Euro kills Isabella's bodyguard, and is like, I own you now. So, as the captain predicted, they location changed the last minute, trying to find the shooters, and does. Oh, this is something I wanted to talk about. So these shooters, I think they have the same guns as the first time. They have these fucking like 50 cal rifles in the first scene with where they like, hey, when did you guys start working with the FBI? And you just see like body parts being blown off in the car with the camera just in the back corner of the car.
yeah.
When I first saw that, I was like, that looks so fake. But now with like a little bit more knowledge and like seeing it at home, like I said, watching in the theater did not look good. It's pretty fucking gnarly of a scene.
It is. It is. But, at this point, with Trudy in the coma and everything, like everything happening, we got 30 minutes of the movie left. And
Yeah.
all I can think at this point is like, they are going to fuck them up so bad.
And you were excited. So the one cop, Switek, walks over there to check the drugs, and that's when the captain says start shooting. But when the shooting starts and Switek, he is on the other side because he has just checked for the drugs. He is behind all of these guys. He should be able to kill every bad guy because he is just standing behind them.
Well, that's what I was so confused about, because I was like, are they waiting for something? Like, what's going on?
It's just to make it more, I guess, badass, but he legitimately should have killed everybody. I don't know what he was waiting for. If he was scared,
He got quite a few people.
he got like 3. But then we get the Aryan guy gets killed by Colin Farrell, and he gets first of all, I for the longest time thought when he's like, no, I don't want that guy coming over here. I want Isabella. And I was like, why would Euro agree to that? And it's only
Right.
like it's because he doesn't know they're cops, and he's like, we have shooters that are going to take them out. So that's like it can be the only explanation, because otherwise it's just like, why would you just talked about how you own her? Why would you let her walk away?
I don't want that fucking guy.
Yeah. So, and then it ends with Crockett chasing down Euro, killing the one guy, getting shot at, doing a roll, and then blasting him like a Jackson Pollock painting onto the boat.
Oh. Well,
Full
on top
circle.
of that, he's wrestling with Isabella, who's mad that she found out he's a cop. So he's got a lot of things going on for him,
Well, no, that's Sonny. Well, I said Crockett, but it was Tubbs that chased down Euro, and then Crockett is the one who
Who
is
killed the other guy? Yeah.
taking Isabella into the car and getting a fugitive out of there. Although I don't know what would she be charged with? I guess like she works for a fucking drug organization.
Yeah, she's like the business finance woman of a drug empire.
So as Trudy's waking up, he gets her on a boat that will take her to Havana. He's like, I'll never see you again. And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's like bittersweet. Everyone ends up like they're not gonna keep Trudy in a coma, and Isabella is gonna go off. All right, like they got to give those guys one thing.
I'm curious if this was probably not, because I think once again it feels very episodic. Like, oh, there's so much more that could happen. So it's like, was this planning for a sequel? But I mean, I don't think it did very well, and it wasn't highly like received. So I'm curious if they had planned originally for it to have that.
The
So
whole style over substance, I 100% agree with, but I don't think it actually looks that bad. I think the shaky cam style with the interesting, because this is like one of the first like digital movies, right?
yeah,
it's interesting. It has an interesting look to it, and I think now it's probably aged in a better way, but it does give it that very specific style that I actually found kind of cool.
At the very end during the shootout, there is like blood that gets spattered on the camera, and it's like a part of the action.
There's that. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking of the sky. Remember when Colin Farrell gets out of his car and there's like a storm, like a lightning storm in
Yeah.
the sky? I was like, that looks so fucking cool.
So Jamie Foxx kind of brought up the idea to Michael Mann during a party for the movie Ali, which he was in, and that led Mann to revisit the series and make this movie.
I
Between
thought
when
Will
he was,
Smith was Ali.
yeah, there were other people in the movie. One
I
of them,
thought, oh,
Fox.
yeah, okay.
So between when he was cast and the movie started, Jamie Foxx won an Oscar, which this says greatly increased his ego and demands. So he was mad.
That
He
seems
was
like a personal hit piece.
well. So he said he was being paid less than Colin Farrell, and he demanded a raise. So instead, they cut Farrell's salary, which is like I don't know if that's what. So then Fox refused to fly commercial, so they had to get him a private jet. He wouldn't participate in scenes on boats or planes, which I mean, kind of, I don't remember him being on any. There were gunshots fired on a set in the DR, and apparently other people had a problem with this too. They were like, we were working in areas that the cops said were unsafe, and like we were using gang members as security, and Man's like, this is fine. Which that scene in Haiti is probably the one where they're just walking down a street that looks like it's rubble.
Yep.
I was like, that's probably the scene that everyone's like, can we get the fuck out of here? And then after that shooting in the DR, Fox left the country and refused to work work outside of the U.S. So originally this was going to be filmed in Uruguay, the ending, like the shootout, and instead they had to do it in the U.S., which does change the movie.
I guess what's so funny is that you could have shot all this in the U.S. or the Bahamas or Puerto Rico, and you could have just been like, yeah, this is all these places, and like we would never know.
Some of them, I mean, you can feel some of them being different. Like, well, the scene where she's like, "Oh, I'm in Geneva," that was actually filmed in Uruguay, and it was like, yeah, that kind of looked like Uruguay. They did find like a one street that, like, I guess could have passed for Geneva. Last thing, alternate casting. All of these, well, not all of them are terrible. So Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and McConaughey were considered for Sonny Crockett. Pitt is the only good choice of those.
Yep.
Tom Cruise would be terrible. McConaughey
Yep.
would be terrible in that role.
McConaughey would be better than Cruise, though.
Yeah, Cruise is the worst. And then Will Smith, Denzel, and Samuel Jackson were considered for Tubbs. I think Samuel Jackson's a terrible choice for that. I think Will Smith's actually a fucking great choice, especially in 2006 for that.
When did Bad Boys come out? Because then it maybe
it would feel a lot like Bad Boys. I mean,
Yeah.
Bad Boys came out like early, like a couple years earlier than this.
it's like Bad Boys, but with all the comedy sucked out of it.
Yeah, which is probably why I wouldn't do it. I mean, this movie reminds me so much of Bad Boys 2 and so much of that Fast and the Furious movie. Like, it is the there was actually a fun fact in this in like the IMDb section for this movie that was clearly meant for Bad Boys 2. Because it was talking about the mansion at the end of the movie that gets blown up, and I was like, that's Bad Boys 2. There was no mansion that got blown up at the end of this fucking movie. Denzel and Brad Pitt is such a like an interesting what if, or Will Smith and Brad Pitt is such a like an interesting. But at the time I was so excited for Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx, especially Colin Farrell. I was a huge Colin Farrell guy at the time. So
yeah, I wonder if Denzel and Brad Pitt would have kind of given it an extra layer of something. I don't know what, but something.
I feel like they would have been more controlling and like steered the movie a little bit differently.
Yeah. You know what's funny about the show, though, is Miami Vice is just dripping in 80s self-awareness, right? Like the suits that they wear, the music that plays, the suaveness of the characters is just very 80s. So for this to be like, made in 2006, not set in the 80s, but set in 2006, it gives a whole different vibe to what I think even people going into it thinking maybe they were getting some sort of 80s vibe movie. Like, this gives a different vibe to it. The main thing that I'm taking away from this, though, is that I think I would appreciate it more on a second and third watch. I'll give it a little bit of time, though. Maybe next year I'll pick it up again,
think
because, well, just knowing what you're coming into now, I think I could appreciate it and enjoy it better.
I think my wife will appreciate that we were past this because I just kept quoting Eurotrip and saying Miami Vice, #1 show.
Miami
Over
Vice,
and over.
#1 show.
Thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Lon, and I finally watched Miami Vice.